Hello, language learners. A ton of different language learners study languages in order to take exams. And while that is perfectly fine and perfectly valid for whatever reasons, that they have for doing that, whether it's to get a job or to get into a school or because it provides a structure that they really feed off of, taking language exams is not for everybody. And I want to go into exactly, what happens when you study for a language exam and why that might not be for you. And, that's totally okay. Not everybody should be taking language exams for, a few different reasons, which I'm going to talk about in this video. When my clients come to me, they have experience in their language. They have various levels of experience in their target language, but they don't know exactly where they are. And they ask me, how do they find what level they are? How do they find out where they are so they can understand where they need to go? And they ask me, oh, is there any assessment that you can give me? Is there an assessment that you have that I can use to understand where I am? Thus far, I have not recommended any of my clients take an assessment like an official language exam. I just don't think it's relevant to them. And this video is going to talk about why. Specifically, I'm going to talk about 5 reasons why language exams might not be for you. I mean, look, looking at these are really exciting. I get really excited when I see these workbooks for A1 to C2 Spanish, but it's not for everybody. And that initial ping of motivation that you get from seeing things like this is great, but it's not for everybody. So let's dive into that. The first reason why language exams might not be for you is the most common one that I find with language learners that I talk to, like my clients, is that we are accustomed to learn to take exams. In school, we learn to learn for the purpose of being assessed on our skills. Sound familiar? Looking at the concept of an exam and thinking, oh, if I can take and pass this exam, then, I can validate my skills. Which is fine, but also not necessary if that's not what you're looking for. So in order to pass this C2 exam, you need to have a set level of certain skills, right? You need to, find out exactly what the skills are, how great those skills need to be, what exactly you need to learn, all those different things. This association is dictating what it is that you need to learn, which is fine. However, having somebody else dictate what it is that you're learning isn't always beneficial and isn't always accurate. Not everybody needs to have an advanced level of grammar. Not everybody needs to understand the subjunctive and the imperative and the conditionals and all these things. Not everybody needs to or wants to understand those things. So while it's exciting to look at this and think, yes, I accomplished that, if you don't actually genuinely want to learn those skills, you don't have to, and that's fine. The second reason, another big reason. So like I said, these books, these assessments dictate what skills that you are learning to what level you're learning them to. So the thing that's awesome about this is that it tests all of your language skills: reading, writing, listening, and speaking, the 4 language skills. So while that will give you a very well-rounded, very, significant understanding and ability within the language, not everybody wants that. Some people just want to learn to read. Some people just want to learn to speak. Some people just want to understand. So for those people who don't necessarily want to improve all of their language skills, studying for an exam like this one is going to be a waste of their time, and it's not going to feel gratifying. It's not going to feel like an accomplishment as much as the goals that they genuinely, in their heart of hearts really want to accomplish. Number 3, language exams are expensive. The price is different depending on where you go, what language it is, and all those sorts of factors. But you can generally assume that an exam is going to take you a couple $100 at least. And then if you don't pass that exam, it'll feel like you just kind of threw that money away. Or at least it can, depending on your perspective. But if you don't have that kind of money to shell out for an exam that you might not even need, if you don't need it to get a job or any number of things, then studying for that language exam, it might be out of reach. It might be kind of pointless. If you're the kind of person who is depending upon free language learning resources just because you cannot afford more expensive language learning resources, then taking a language exam that you don't need to take for a career or anything like that, it's going to be a waste of your time, money, energy, and it's going to feel really crappy. I talk about the gym membership fallacy. I don't know if that's a thing. I don't know if I'm making that a thing. It's a thing now. So the gym member fallacy, where you say, oh, if I put this money down every month, if I have like a $50 membership to the gym, then I will absolutely go to the gym because I won't want to waste the money. Generally, that's not true. If you have ever decided that you were going to put money down to go to the gym for a New Year's resolution, and you went for a couple of weeks and then you gave up, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Putting a couple $100s down in order to take this assessment and not actually wanting to take the assessment or needing to take the assessment, it's not that's not how any of this works. You know, taking these exams, taking these assessments are hard work. It takes a lot of commitment, and simply putting down the money for a commitment that you don't actually genuinely want to accomplish, that's not going to be helpful, and it really distracts from the actual purpose of learning a language, the actual purpose that you have for learning a language. It's always really important to be true and be clear in your purpose, your language goals, your reason for learning a language. Putting money down and having that as your motivation, that's not what this is about. Negative reinforcement like that, you know, study this or else that money will be wasted, is not helpful. And not only will you more likely fail, but you're also going to feel really crappy about failing because, you know, great, now you have this negative reinforcement that reinforced you. Oh, great, I failed. Now I feel crappy because of the negative reinforcement. If you know anything about positive and negative reinforcement and raising kids and stuff like that, it's important to know that negative reinforcement doesn't actually work. Sounds great, it's not actually beneficial. Positive reinforcement is where it's at, 100%. Reason number 4, taking a language exam can be a great goal. It's what a lot of people do. They use language exams in order to create a goal, and you know that can help them set a goal for the near future, like 3 to 6 months in advance, and gives them 3 to 6 months to, you know, accomplish certain things, learn certain things, and be tested on what it is that they learn if they, you know, have a hard time setting goals. However, if taking a very, very strict assessment like this is too much pressure, then that's not going to be helpful. That's going to be less helpful than setting no goals, because not only did you fail the goal, which sucks, but you also didn't get to enjoy the language because you learned it for a reason that doesn't actually benefit you. If having that strict mandate as to what you need to be learning, how you need to be learning it, when you need to be learning it, that can put a lot of pressure, and we don't need that kind of pressure on ourselves. If it's a motivating factor for you, that's amazing and go for it. But if it's something that's going to put pressure on you, if that time's going to put pressure on you, if having to learn specific things is going to be putting too much pressure on you, then language exams are not for you. And last but not least, structure. So having an external force like an exam can provide excellent structure, like I said. However, also like I said, these tests mandate certain skills. They mandate a very specific level of very specific skills for you to accomplish. However, with very specific mandates like this, it's not going to be one size fits all. Not everybody is going to want to accomplish those very specific things. You know, for example, with language skills, your individual language skills will always be at different levels. That's just how it works. So if you're really happy with your speaking being, you know, like intermediate, beginner, intermediate, beginner, however those two words coincide to each other, but you don't really care to improve your writing skills, then taking an exam like this isn't really going to be helpful for you, because you're going to end up studying skills that you don't actually care about. I mean, the point of all this is to have external structure for a lot of people. And while external structure like that is amazing, it's not for everybody, which is why that's, you know, something that I teach my clients, is to come up with a structure for themselves that makes sense to them, their own personal goals, is really forgiving for their lifestyle, their life, what they're trying to accomplish, what they find that they are unable to do, all these different things. It's about finding a structure, a path that is individualized and personalized and will work for you, and not necessarily, you know, you have to learn these skills up to this level or else you fail. So those are all 5 reasons. It's kind of funny that I talk about this because taking and passing this exam has been my goal from the start. I'm not adhering to it particularly strictly because it's been, you know, several years, and if I really wanted to, I could have studied for this exam and passed it years ago, but I just haven't. But my goal has always been to understand and be able to reproduce a language in all scenarios, in all ways. So, it makes sense to me. Most language learners I found are not like that, do not need that, do not want that. So them coming to me and asking me what assessment they should be taking in order to, dictate and understand in a, official way what their level is, it really doesn't make any sense. It's kind of a waste of money. It's not gonna really feel good, all those kinds of things. In the comment section below, let me know, have you ever taken a language exam? Do you want to take a language exam? Or is that something that, causes you stress? Would be a waste of money, any number of things. Otherwise, make sure you subscribe and you hit the bell to be notified when I post a new video every Wednesday and Sunday. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time. Pas de soleil, pas de soleil.